400 readers of English, Filipino, and Spanish poetry were invited in the first ever uninterrupted poetry reading session at the Instituto Cervantes in Manila. Check this out.
Sadness, love, passion. These are just some of the words describing the works of poet Miguel Hernandez. Dubbed as Para Libertad, Can Poetry Change the World? This first non-stop poetry event launched by the Instituto Cervantes not only promotes the works of Hernandez, but also promotes the love for poetry as well.
Well, first of all, I would put it in a global way. Poetry will be forever. Writing will be forever. So all of us, you and me, anybody here in this room, some way somehow we are poets. Just tell me one person that at any given point in time will not think to write a small poem, no? Or so everybody was to read a poem or to write a poem or whatever. Just the question of the Spanish poetry. Well, first of all, we have to speak Spanish better. Okay, so entice everybody to learn Spanish. Come to Instituto Cervantes, which is the best way. Be part of the 7,000 students here, which is around Metro Manila only. Okay, and so perhaps in the years to come we will have more poetry in Spanish. But nevertheless, there is some very few Filipino Spanish poets, Filipinos writing in Spanish, and that's very important. Also few, but it's very important to keep the flame because it's part of our shared heritage between the Philippines and Spain. So for that, I think so it is worth. So this uninterrupted reading that we have today of poetry, what we want, what we pursue is just to bring people together, people who are interested in not only the poetry, people who really loves life, because poetry is life, okay, people who share thoughts. And so all together here, you see, it's a very lively event, okay. We put just a small ad in Facebook and we have more overwhelming response. So meaning to say that there are people all over willing and waiting to be called, to give something, and we are trying our best. So it's one more cultural bit in the city. So let's make Manila once and for all back again to be the cultural capital of this part of the world.
Miguel Hernandez was born in Orihuela, Spain, and he first published his book at the age of 23. He has 5 works to date, and they are Perito El Lunas in 1934, El Rayo que no cesa 1936, Vientos del Pueblo Me Llevan in 1937, El Hombre Acecha from 1938 to 1939, Cancionera y Romancero de Ausencias, an incomplete work from 1938 to 1942. The event featured poems in Spanish, English, and poems translated in our native tongue, Filipino. Guests were treated to a poetry experience they would never forget, as emotions heightened and the feelings of passion, melancholy, and love were felt line after line.
I didn't concentrate much on the content rather than the delivery because I just volunteered. I was just called. Anyway, I saw some about sandals and I noticed that there were translations in different dialects and languages of the same poem. It's wonderful, it's unique, it's the first time I experienced this, and I'm happy that there are many people who are interested in poetry because poetry is a different language, it's a language of the soul, I think.
I was nervous, but I was contented with the recitation because I think I did it well. That's it.
So for those who wanted to feel emotions so raw that only words could grasp, let the poetry of Miguel Hernandez move you and let it change the world as words emanate from our lips towards freedom.